सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्. I welcome you all with my love and respects. So many questions every day now. It's okay. I'll spend more time, but I'll answer all the questions. So in the last session, yesterday I was answering one part of the questions of Chirantana. Now I'll complete the remaining part of that question. How do we identify, comply with and complete an engram in a chakra without recreating more engrams while doing so? Be present, be unclutched, be aware. All these words denote the same experience, same process from different angle. So in these three, if you do any one process, that's enough. That's enough to comply, complete. When I say complying and completing, it does not mean going after the engram or breaking that engram. When you are with awareness, whatever happens is completion. If a thread goes from one chakra to another, do we fulfill it in the lower chakra or the higher chakra? Don't bother about that. It will be independent, one by one only. One you will comply, complete. Only then it will go to next. It will not, you don't need to choose. I have another one question from Ananda Kavya. Swamiji, I have been contemplating the sutra you gave us in the past 2 days. Would you please help me to understand the followings? Does living inside the body independently mean functioning the body only with pure consciousness? If so, does it mean only enlightened being can have this experience? If not, how can an ordinary person to practice or experience this? First thing, does living inside the body independently mean functioning the body only with pure consciousness? Yes. If so, does it mean only enlightened being can have this experience? No. Enlightened being has the ultimate experience of this definition. But you can start practicing. Again, all teachings, all techniques, all practices boils down to this one Mahamantra. Mahavagya, be unclutched. So start unclutching. You can see an ordinary person can practice and experience this. See, when I say unclutching, it is more intense. Every night, unclutch and fall into that space. So that when you wake up, first thought will be, oh, you have been unclutched whole night. Let you drill yourself in unclutching. Let you just drill yourself by unclutching. Grill your whole being by unclutching. Michael, LB, can you please expand on what you meant the other day when you talked about complying with and completing? I think I answered. I answered this. Complying and completing both happens by unclutching. So it may not lead to action. That is not a problem. But complying and completing means unclutching. Let's enter into the next Patanjali Yoga Sutra. Today's Sutra, 92nd Sutra, in the second chapter, 41st verse. Subject: master technique to realize yourself. Sattva Suddhi Saumanasyai Kakrendriya Jayatma Darshana Yogyatwanicha. Yogyatwanicha. Wow. Sattva Suddhihi Saumanasya Egagriya Indriya Jaya Atmadarshana Yogyatwanihi Yogyatwanicha. Swami Vivekananda translates this sutra as: there also arise purification of sattva, cheerfulness of mind, concentration, conquest of the organs, and fitness for the realization of the self. Prabhavananda says, moreover, one achieves purification of the heart, cheerfulness of mind, the power of concentration, control of passions, and fitness for the vision of the Atman. Sachidananda translates as, moreover, one gains purity of sattva, cheerfulness of mind, one-pointedness, mastery over the senses, and fitness for self-realization. So basically, Patanjali tries to describe by the purity. He is continuing from the last sutra. If the purity is continuously being practiced, sattva suddhi, upon purification of the sattva, saumanasya, happiness, clarity of mind. Yesterday, as I described, Bole Baba, that feeling of Bole Baba. See, Saucha gives you the signs of pleasure. Again and again I wanted you to understand, purity is not morality. It is not given to you just as a morality. It is given to you as a mystical technique. Let me define mystery. When I say, understand, you are looking through the eyes, if you just listen, it's a technical knowledge. If you try to do it for 10 minutes, immediately after you listening, you will try. I am looking through the eyes, through the eyes. It is technique. But even when your biomemory laziness and diverting tendency takes you over, see, your biomemory is basically filled with diverting tendency and laziness. After 3 minutes, I am not looking through the eyes, are looking, okay, let's look. The diverting tendency, the technique, the shraddha in the technique will be lost. The shraddha in the tapas will be lost. But when that is lost by the diversion or by the laziness, even at those moments, you stand, no, I am going to do it. When you look through the eyes, suddenly the mysteries of looking will be revealed to you, which your ordinary brain never grasped. Mysteries of looking means, let me define exactly how I am now seeing all of you. I'll tell you. Let us take this example. With this one example, I'll reveal the definition of mystery. So from last 2 days, we are working with this one example of looking through the eyes. When you look through the eyes, means with awareness, eyes are not seeing. Through eyes, something else which you call or feel as you is seeing. All of you are clear about it? When you initially start practicing that, it is technique. When you establish yourself in that, beyond the diverting tendency of your mind and the laziness of your biomemory, if you are able to see, when you stand with Shraddha and start looking, you will suddenly see why you are seeing. I can tell you very clearly why I am seeing. I am telling you exactly what is happening in me. From this, you understand what all can happen in you. Like Krishna says, knowing my inner space, you be liberated from your inner space. When you know my inner space, you know exactly the sutras and principles with which inner space is working. Apply the same sutra and principle in your inner space, you will have the clarity and liberation. Now, as on now, let me describe as I am seeing. I am not seeing the individual persons. Here one batch, a cluster, means a group is sitting which does not have an individual identity. It's like the huge sheep. This group, one patch, does not have an individual identity. It is just sitting there. Any one small thing happens to one person will affect all the people. That's the way I am seeing now. Like a group energy, that's it. There is no individual. I'll first describe the scene as it is. Then I'll try to explain. Because it is. I'm throwing too many mystical doors open. Poison in the Shiva's throat, Alagala, is Maya, and that takes care too many great mystical things are not revealed verbally and transmitted to the world. That is one of the biggest problem. In all masters' throat, that Alagala comes and sits. Only to a certain extent you can throw this, you can verbalize and release. Anyhow, now I'll do it step by step. So here I am seeing one group which has no individual identity. If one person is affected, all other will be affected. If one person is raised, all will raise. That is the way I am seeing this patch. And there are few bodies are not even awakened to the idea that they have an individual body. Maybe those kids, I feel. They don't even have an idea that they have a separate body. They are like a sheep. They will grow together. And if they are not awakened, maybe later on they will be awakened. If not, They'll just like that, like a sheep, they'll die. When a person is not awakened to the idea that they have an individual body, individual identity, it has some bad things and some good things. There will not be individual suffering. Same way, there will not be individual enlightenment. The possibility of enlightenment does not exist. So there are some kids still I am seeing, the individuality is not awakened. It is yet to awaken. So here I am seeing one small patch which has no other emotion except the simple love. And again I am seeing those few kids, no individual identity. It's almost like a tree or a plant or an animal, just the body. It is there, but the possibility for individual identity to happen exists. This is the way how I am seeing. Why I decide to see continuously. See, this group, even though doesn't have individual identity, has some devotion. Here I am seeing devotion is there, but the individual identity also is there. Maybe that is the reason for jealousy. Along with devotion, that individual identity is also showing the head. I am here, I am here. But here in this small patch, I don't see that I am here idea. It is there, just a kind of a group, patch. If I have to describe how from the snake's mouth the tongue will again and again come out and show that it is there, it is there. Same way I can see that in every body, it's like a one cluster of devotion. If I consider devotion as a lump of clay, there's a big lump of clay, but like the snake's tongue, from every body, that individual identity comes up and says once in a while, I am here, I am here. But in this group I am not seeing that snake's tongue coming out, saying that, recording, registering the individual identity's presence. This is a scene I am seeing. Let me describe why I am seeing. I am seeing just because the devotion of these two groups requires that my seeing will ripen them to the next level. Sometime you will see some volunteers or devotees, the so-called rich donors, will be staying in the ashram for weeks. I will not see them even once. Even if I see them, I will not look at them. Okay. Taken care. That's it. But for no reason, some local villager would have come with little ragi, or not even ragi, some fruit, or without anything, some disease for healing. You'll see I'll be standing and talking to that person and answering the question and attending. You can't define. Logically, if you see, if you look from an organizational viewpoint, oh, you can spend with these people a little more time, at least the organization will become strong, they will give their time, talent, treasure. He is going around and playing with the people who neither have time, treasure, talent, anything. People only who have disease. What is the use? If you look through the eyes, you will know what you really want to see, what really need to be seen and what you don't need to see, what you don't want to see. In my case, I have only two things. What wants me to see it, what does not want me to see it, that's all. I myself do not have idea what I want to see or what I don't want to see. That doesn't exist in me. What wants to be seen by me, what does not want to be seen by me. The so-called rich guys, all these fellows, they come, they act as if they want to be seen by me, but they have a deep fear. If this guy sees me, I may become devoted to him. I don't know what will happen. There are so many vested interests, other things, other strings which are pulling them back from inside, telling me, hey, don't see me, you better go. Enough. You just give me the consolation, but don't look at me. Mouth says, see me, see me. The heart says, no, go quickly, go to the next person. So many are waiting in the Sarvadarshan. Then I say, all right, tadastu, and move to the next person. In your case, when you look through the eyes, you will realize what you want to see and what you don't want to see. That understanding is what I call mystery. Please understand. Whenever you use the technique and solve an ununderstandable, unsolvable happening of your life, it is called mystery. Please understand. If you feel you are touching through your body and experience the signs of pleasure and be liberated from the conflicts which you may need to go through for the sake of pleasure in the world, you understood the mystery of pleasure of science. Understand? If you understand the science of pleasure through touch, if you understand you are touching through the body, two things will happen. The unnecessary trial and error touches which you are doing for the sake of pleasure will be dropped. And what you really feel will bring pleasure again and again. You will create your life in such a way, such a situation. You will see that that pleasure is available to you and you are available to that pleasure. So the conflict which you may need to go through in the life for the sake of pleasure will suddenly disappear. That is what I say, understanding the mystery of science of pleasure. Attend to every sense like this, with this clarity of purity. The mysteries will be revealed to you. This is what a brahmachari is supposed to do in his life. Then after you understand, you will create a life around you. What is that which gives you excitement again and again? What is that you wanted around you? You will create a life around you. The person who has created a beautiful conflict-free life around him, which may not suit with any organized setup of human beings living together. It may not set up in any varana, any ashrama. When I say ashrama, the brahmacharya, grihastha, vanaprastha, sannyasa, or even my own organization. It may not all the time always suit, but you have the clear understanding of your mystery. This is what is the mystery of pleasure for me. This is what is mystery of seeing for me. This is what is mystery of the taste for me. And you set up your life as you want around you and you live. You are called Paramahamsa. And you know very clearly, clear mystical way, what you want, what for you can spend, and what can constantly keep you in eternal bliss. And I tell you, whenever you are established in your eternal bliss, you will constantly teaching that science to whoever comes around you. And automatically a community will grow around you. This is what is a cell reproducing itself. I am actually not interested in having a huge community in one place. No. I want all you guys to become people who experience that mystery and go and be in different, either be head of any community which I established or create your own community. I am very clear about it. That is the reason from the beginning I never centralized all the wealth, human resource, anything to one place. Cult means a place or a group flourishes only in a small place, only in one particular place. I am available, alive, flourishing, being cherished, expanding and exploding in 197 countries. So I cannot be a cult, I am a culture. The word cult needs to be understood. It's like a happening or brainwashing in one place where people stay together. Because of staying together constantly, they get into one kind of idea or mental setup that can be called as cult. But here, we are not in one place. At least 197 countries, people are working with me or I am working with them. Just this birthday was celebrated in 107 places all over the world, and the ashram 108. In 108 places in the January 1st and 2nd, 108 places people had my darshan. People have seen me and celebrated my birthday. Let's come back to our subject, mystery. I am not interested in all you guys staying in one place. That's the reason I did not centralize all the wealth and human resource, everything to one place. I created so many temples, places, ashrams everywhere. Why do you think? Because I want more and more Paramahamsas. Some of you, when we become Paramahamsas, your gratitude and devotion will be so overflowing, you will just feel like melting and settle down at my feet with me. That's great, okay. Some of you, when you become Paramahamsas, you will have a tremendous gratitude, overflowing ecstasy. But you may want to live somewhere where you share that with so many other people. That is also okay. Some of you may feel not only wanted to live somewhere else, different setup altogether. Then you don't even need to be part of my Sangha. Be somewhere, you will be part of my mission, may not be part of my Sangha, organization. Understand? I am creating space for all three group. One group, after becoming Paramahamsa, overflowing gratitude, joy, just melt down, settling here itself. Great. There will be another one group, after becoming Paramahamsa, great, deep gratitude, love, joy, feeling connection, but wanted to be in some other place geographically, but with the same ideology. For them only I created so many different organizations all over the world. Being part of my Sangha, be somewhere, be head, and reproduce more and more Paramahamsas. And there will be another one group, overflowing gratitude, became Paramahamsa, feeling connection, but does not want to be legal part of the Sangha. Wanted to be somewhere else and not even wanted to be part of the legal Sangha. Great. Then be part of my mission. May not be part of the organization. I have place for you also. Then be a Paramahamsa wherever you are. Go on reproducing. Go on creating more and more Paramahamsas. More and more enlightened beings. I just wanted to define clearly my vision. Creating more and more Paramahamsas who are capable of creating more and more Paramahamsas. Then it should become like a millions of swans flying in the sky. Understand? Only dogs hit each other, fight with each other. Swans never hit each other. If you see two dogs in the street, such a big road, but they'll be fighting. Whirr, whirr, whirr. But see millions of swans flying. They'll be flying so close. Have you ever seen one swan hitting each other and falling? Swans don't get into the traffic jam or accidents. Only dogs, even if there is so much space, constantly gets into the fight and accidents. Swans will not have conflict. Dogs, even if it is two, will always have conflict. I am interested in all of you becoming swans, so that whether you are here, not here, there will not be conflict. If you are a dog, wherever you are, you will be creating conflict. I have seen some dogs, they are so possessive of their territory, even 200, 300 feet, this guy will be with closed eyes sleeping. But suddenly his face expression will change by the smell, somebody entering into his territory. He'll start. Understand the mystery of pleasure through the eyes, through the ears, by continuously looking, seeing, experiencing through those senses, means achieving the purity. Suddenly you will realize, actually when you understand the science of pleasure, through this spiritual process, you will understand the science of bliss. And you will not waste your time. Further things of what Patanjali calls Sattva Suddhi. When the Sattva Suddhi happens, means the purification of the senses, the understanding. See, when you stop the trial and error method, that space only I call as Sattva Suddhi. All the trial and error is over. Whether this is giving you pleasure, that is giving you joy, the trial and error is over. Now you know very clearly what gives you. Sattva Suddhi. Saumanasya, that brings a tremendous happiness. Nothing can take away the happiness which you are having. when you have the understanding of the mystery, the trial and error method will not be there. You will not be trying and erring for the sake of your pleasure. You just know what adds joy to your life, and you will arrange your life based on that, and you will live it. The intense happiness which comes out of your being by the understanding of the mystery of pleasure is what Patanjali calls Saumanasya. What all happens by purity, Patanjali is explaining in this sutra. Then Ekagriya, the ability to focus happens. When you know this is what is pleasure, then naturally you will be focused on that. You will not be wasting your time. Mastery of senses means you will become master of your senses. Senses will not be using you. You will be the master of senses. Destroying the senses is not the right thing. And being the slave of the senses is also not the right thing. Be master of the senses. That is the right thing. And naturally, because of all this Atma Darshana, you became worthy of self-realization. Yogyatvani, you became ready for self-realization. How the purity prepares you for self-realization, Patanjali describes through the sutra. I bless you all to achieve, experience, live, express, radiate, and share the eternal bliss, Nityananda. Thank you.